Yes, he will forever be known as the finance guy. Be funny. Yeah,
Okay.
John?
Are we on?
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
All right, so after last session, you gave us a proposal on wages and on hours of work and overtime. We went back and gave some consideration to both of them, and we have a counter proposal for you on wages.
Okay. You didn't have to realize you were going to walk that far today, did you?
This is my exercise for the week. What do you call So, let's just walk through this. So the 1801, what we're looking at doing for fiscal year 23-24, we kept that the same. We also kept the same as our last proposal, 1802, what we're proposing for 24-25 and 25-26. What we added is 1803, effective the date of ratification of this agreement. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. I appreciate that. So in 1802, actually, we did make a change. So the last sentence we added for the fiscal year 24-25, in addition, bargaining employees with between 2 and 15 years of service in their current position will receive a 3% compression adjustment to their base wage effective the date of the general increase. What we also did for 24-25 is, well, actually just on 18.03, effective the date of ratification of this agreement, bargaining employees who are assigned to work in the mental health unit will receive $1 an hour special assignment pay while they're working on a mental health unit. And then in 1804, effective fiscal year 24-25, individuals who are hired after October 1, 24 that have experience will receive various amounts above the minimum based on their experience. So what we try to do is we try to address the compression issue in 1802, and in 1804 we try to make it more attractive to hire people that have experience to fill some of the vacancies that we have.
So in 1802, I want to make sure I just,
Sure.
I mean, it seems clear, but I just want to make sure. So 1802, 24-25, so they'll get the 3% increase. And then if you have them between 2 to 15 years, you'll get an additional 3% increase.
Yeah.
For a total of 6.
Yeah.
Do you have, is there anything else that you have before we got this?
Yeah, we're staying pat on the overtime.
Okay.
You know, and look, you know, because you were there, we resolved the contract with the lieutenants.
Yes.
And, you know, what the lieutenants agreed to for 24-25 is the same as we're proposing, you know, with the exception of that last sentence in 18.02. And then with respect to the hours of work, we have the same exact discussions that we've had with this union, with the wanting to go down to 80 versus the 82, and we landed on 82, and we want to stick with 82 for this unit as well. And that seems to be, that's the major issue that we have in the overtime market.
Jeff, if you have a clean
1823 with you from the old contract. U.P.A. that, the last discussion on that was we wanted a wallet added to it, but we're okay with the literature from the old one, if you have clean copies by any chance.
Yeah, well, I don't have the clean copy, I can get one during the caucus.
We can bring them back for the next one, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
There's a couple other ones I think we could get rid of too. We can say, I think we're good on staying with the uniforms as is, right? Uniforms, if we can agree to wages, I'm not sure if they want to agree with wages yet. If we do that, then we'll obviously agree to insurance as well. No change with hours of work and overtime?
Correct.
Yep, okay. All right. What's your name? I'm sorry.
Aaron.
I don't feel comfortable with mine.
Aaron.
So what was the total on with this proposal?
Actually did not, I gotta look at the compression part, we added the compression part late, so I don't have a total cost estimate on that, but I can figure it out.
Okay.
You want us to, if we can calculate it during the caucus, you want us to just
Yeah, just give us-
text it over to you so
Yes.
this way you all can resolve that?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just texting.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, thank you.
That's okay.
Year one,
Yep.
1801, we would like to see a 25% bump in both the pay rates, using the attached pay matrices. Year two, we're looking for some clarification. It says between 2 and 15 years. So does that mean anyone after the 15-year mark is not eligible for the compression?
Correct, but in position. So if, for example, if you're a senior officer, if you've been a senior officer between 2 and 15 years, you get it.
Okay, so we want to do away with that language, and we want to take away the 15 mark.
Right, how many people do you believe will not get the 3%?
Everyone in my class passed me.
Harry, Simone.
In the room, me and Simone. It's not that many. And then we're being punished again for longevity.
Well, you're not being punished. The whole point of this is not longevity, it's compression. And based upon.
We all work for Jim Deneen,
Yeah,
so we're equally compressed with the guy that's got 14 years.
not based on our review of it, but look, I understand your proposal, we'll take a look at it. So let me just make sure I got this right. Is it that year one, you want plus 25 cents?
Yes.
But we're going to do away with the mental health pay to help pay for that. We don't need mental health pay.
And the reason behind that is that just seems, we all talked about it, not only the, how it could be handed out, that dollar, but how you're going to keep track of that, and which,
And what units will be covered.
and what units will be covered. It just seems like a bigger hassle than it would be worth.
So just so I'm clear on year two, I assume it's the 15-year part that you got an issue as opposed to 2 years.
So do everybody 2 years and up?
Right. That's what I thought that it was on.
Yes, sir.
And then fiscal year 24-25, bargaining, we want it to read, bargaining unit employees will receive 3% pay increase or the percentage dollar amount provided by the county council to the county's non-bargaining unit employees, whichever is greater. We also would like the compression language. So we're just looking for me too with the general employee, and the same in year 3.
And the reason behind.
Obviously, the compression out of the year 3, we get that.
The reason behind the language of the rollback is there are people that watch the council meetings and everybody talking about going to rollback next year, so we're just not comfortable with that language.
Well, keep in mind, we proposed originally a B2 for the second and third year, and you rejected it.
if it's wrong, like, we do it.
Right, no, I understand that. Yeah. I mean, and yes, and Dana makes a good point, that if it's scroll back, you have me too, which is pretty wonderful.
So we'll run by Rich, make sure that we're just, the wording to us just is a little, it just seems like it's, if you guys go to rollback, we don't get it, that's our understanding of it, so. We will,
It says if the council adopts a millage rate that's a rollback rate, the bargaining unit agrees to the same general wage increase as general county employees.
correct, so if they don't get a raise, then that 3% is not guaranteed, is that correct?
Correct.
Or if they don't adopt the rollback, they get 4%, we're still guaranteed our 3%.
Then just go with the me too. I mean, basically what you're asking for is your cake and eat it. If you want a me too, we'll give you a straight up me too.
I think I'm lost on that.
No, it's pretty much what we're looking for, pretty much a Me Too clause.
Just the
Because,
wording, yeah.
No, what you're asking for is a me too with a floor. That's the difference. You're asking for a guaranteed 3%, but if it turns out that the general employees get more, you automatically get the higher percent. But if the general employees get a 2%, you get 1% more than everybody else.
correct.
And that's what your proposal is. And look, maybe we consider that if we were doing that for 3 years of a contract, but, we're making adjustments in year 1 and year 2 based upon your unique circumstances. So we're not, you can't do both. You can't have we want you to make these adjustments here when it benefits us, but when it comes to everything else, we want a most favored nation provision, which is really what you all are asking for.
So we are asking for that, and I believe part of it would be because we just said based on the surrounding counties, and even with this, there would be Seminole and Flagler would still be above our pay. So we do believe that we are still going to continue to lose employees to those surrounding counties. So that is why we are looking for a guarantee.
I mean, right now, your Breckenwald said the other day in a meeting that I wasn't attending that we're 78 positions down. You have 5 or 6 notices in with more coming. I don't know what to do differently.
Resolve the contract. I mean, that would,
Resolving the
That would-
contracts,
that would
not gonna
help.
fix our people from leaving, Jeff.
okay, well then why are we paying you this money? If you're telling me that what you're proposing isn't going to fix the issues, then why are we going for it?
Correct, our county.
What our counter is.
No, I understand what your counter is. So I said resolve the contract, I said resolving the contract's not gonna solve the problem.
Well, I think if we resolve it where the bargaining unit feels that they don't need to leave to go make more money, I absolutely think. But, I mean, I don't think we're being outlandish in what we're asking for, especially like you said, in our unique position. But we understand too, this 1804 that you guys are asking for, we are not balking at that. We understand the reason behind it. However, in order to do this, we're bringing in, what is it you said, years 3?
Yes. So, yeah, if you have essentially be a year 3 employee, you get the, 3 steps obviously, up to 1802. If you were having a 7-year employee, you'd go to a year 3 bracket, essentially pay-wise. And we think that is fair. We're on board with that. We think that may bring some more people over that do have experience.
But we just want to make sure we don't keep adding to the compression. But what we have, what we just done, I don't think we're too far off. I don't know what the numbers would be with Aaron, but if what he just proposed, if you guys could agree with that, we would take it back for a vote for the bargain.
And the reason that the 1804 doesn't start until 2024 is to make sure that that compression does not occur, which
Right.
is why you see it.
Right,
after.
yes, we completely understand. We don't disagree with it. We just want to make sure the people that are here get taken care of.
That's why the 3% is important there, because if we don't get it, then when that does start, it will put them above the
Why it's there.
That's why we're saying that. It isn't just to be difficult, but we're trying to make sure that we're taking care of the ones that we already have before we start bringing in more.
So if we were to agree to your proposal, would that resolve the contract?
As long as everybody is.
Yes.
Well, no, of course.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's the only thing we're focusing on.
Yeah, what I'm asking is, will it result in us having a T8 contract to present to the members?
Well, then we still have a couple outstanding articles, I think, we need to go over,
Yeah.
right? That we haven't yet. Did we?
No,
Yeah, as far as what I think is open is hours working overtime. Obviously, they're not gonna go to the 80. Insurance, wages, retirement, uniforms, fine, it can go back to what it was.
Actually, we keyed uniforms on 2, 3.
Right, but we re-proposed a $400 allowance and never got anything back from y'all. Then we have Appendix A, Appendix B. We have other articles we gave that you guys said you weren't interested in, so.
Yep.
Just read them all, I'm not even worried about it.
I guess.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
So what's the response?
So the response is if you give us that.
We can agree to the language that I just read to you, then we would definitely take that back to membership.
Okay, and the other stuff would all remain status quo?
Correct.
Okay.
Question, you do have a question.
Sure.
When you say status quo, is the retention bonus still status quo? Does that kind of tell into, like, I guess, perfect order? I mean,
Yeah, we proposed at 5,000, you guys countered with 3,000, and that was the last we spoke of it.
so is it still status quo for the 3,000 for the, I don't know, that's what, just wanted to make sure.
I guess I'm not, I'll let Dana answer that. I guess I guess I don't understand if we're gonna give everybody 3% to address compression and, you know, to help retain. Why would we do the
That's what we're
bonus
asking.
as well?
That's what we're asking.
Yeah.
Because we just want to make sure that there's no misunderstandings. You're thinking that that's status quo, and you're saying, no, it's not. We just need to know. That's why
Sure.
we're asking the question.
Okay. What are those? Should we talk about it? Oh, we'll talk about it.
Okay. All right, you guys, you need the topics, I guess?
I think so.
Okay. All right. Yeah, thank you.
Can we bring up overtime for being in contract? Because we brought it up, we just didn't ever.
That's, bringing your lieutenants up, the overtime in the contract, my understanding is lieutenants got the policy mentioned in the contract. Is that, the policy as written, how they're doing the overtime now? So we just put that in the contract away, whatever the policy is?
Well, so we didn't put policy.
What did I?
What we put in there is that they'll be assigned overtime based on the policy that's created. And the deal was that, you know, they were gonna get with the director.
Right.
And.
Well, we have a
and,
policy.
Right.
We have an overtime.
And so the thing is, yeah, you have an existing policy on it. We had originally negotiated it, and then it's been revised, I understand.
Right.
Everybody's good with it.
Could we just have
Right.
it mentioned in the contract?
Keep in mind, the reason why we had to address it in the contract with the lieutenants is because we converted them from overtime exempt to overtime eligible, and they haven't been part of the overtime rotation. And so part of what we agreed to with the lieutenants is they are going to now be in the overtime rotation. And so we had to have something in there applying a policy to them that had never applied before.
Okay. I'm glad you brought that up since we're sitting here.
Yeah.
When you say that the lieutenants are going to be in overtime rotation, there was some concern that came up with the bargaining. Does that mean that they're going to take all the hospital duties, all the program officers and the sergeant, or are they just doing lieutenant overtime? Do you know?
Well, my understanding is that it was lieutenant overtime.
Okay, so.
So,
Is it lieutenant overtime?
yeah, I do, you know, unfortunately, Joe's not here, so I'm not sure if there was any, you know, any discussion that's occurred in those, you know, emergency or oddball situations.
Okay.
You know, that may be, and that's really a question for Joe, and I'm happy, you know, you all working that out directly with them on that stuff. But no, the intent was not to put them in the overtime rotation and take away overtime opportunities from you all.
Okay, that was, yeah.
There's no been discussion on that, Mr. Cook. We haven't even talked to Joe about that yet, so that's not even,
Well, what we don't, you know, hospital duty's a sweet gig, right? You know, what we don't, can be.
Or can be the worst gig of your life.
Yeah, whichever. But what we don't want is lieutenants picking and choosing and taking all the good stuff And then all the crap overtime's left to the sergeants and the officers, that was the.
Well, once, once we, have more of a blueprint of what we're looking at doing with the lieutenants, we'll surely reach out to you also this way, you know what's going on as well, and so you can provide any input or raise any concerns that you might have with how it's being, going to be handling lieutenants.
Okay. Sounds great. All right.
You ever had a GI week on your feet? Come on.
No.
They're calling.
You're fired.
Yes, dear. I know.
Are we ready?
Yes, sir.
So we get consideration to your proposal, we ran up the flagpole. And so with respect to the year two, the cap, changing it from 2 to 15 to 2 plus, we'd agree to do that. So this way everybody in the bargaining unit that has at least more than a year of service and 1 2 years of service will get 3%. On the first year, that plus 25 cents, it would make a lot more sense to us if we weren't moving people onto the new matrix. But we have a whole, given the fact that when you move people onto the matrix, you have to move up if they fall in the middle of a level. We have folks that are, because of their new placement on the matrix, are getting 50 cents or more. So it doesn't make a lot of sense for us to add that additional quarter. So we don't want to do that, and we want to keep it as proposed for the, what I'll refer to as the Me Too language for the second and third year. And yes, thank you. You would ask that question. We are still proposing the $3,000 retention bonus.
So you're just doing away with the dollar for the mental health altogether?
That's
Now it's the right to do it.
So how is that gonna affect, what units would that be? What would that consist of? Because there's mental health all over the building right now.
That's a mental health.
So we have, I discussed this with them earlier, we have obviously dorm 2, and we have dorm 1, and also dorm 3 with the males and the females in the dorm. They're not all mental health. We have a mixture of a little bit of different populations besides mental health, but unit 2, that's all mental health. And H block is all mental health.
So right now, unit 1,
And C block.
Yeah,
North Point.
unit 1, yep, and unit 1, when we have overflow, that's gonna have some mental health mixtures in there too. So,
North Point as well, with the ME2.
see, that's gonna have to be something discussed with the director.
If you're gonna do that much, everybody that's certified mental health.
Yeah, well, just, it'd be easier for you guys.
Do it
to
across
track.
the board.
If you have the BME certification, you get the dollar.
it's mental health.
Do you have to have that to work on a mental health unit?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it'd be easier to track overall.
Close enough?
So it would be either also.
Yeah, I guess that's really the only, the, putting aside what the cost would be, I have no real idea. But putting that aside, the only concern I would have is that would that result in folks who have the certification, they're getting the dollar, but they never worked mental health, and they say, I'm not working mental health. And so that would be the concern of paying that incentive, so to speak, to folks that had no obligation to work the mental health. And I don't know if there's some way to address that concern.
Can I ask where the mental health thing came from? Just out of curiosity. Was it from council speaking about mental health?
Just hearing that there's an issue getting people to want to work on the mental health unit, so incentivizing that to encourage people to work on it.
Well, I think it kind of goes hand in hand. If we have more people certified, it's just like an FTO pay, you know, we deal with that part of it.
Right.
So if you are, I mean, I don't know, if you're gonna be mental health certified, yeah, you should get paid, but you would have to work if you were mental health certified. I don't know how you would not, I'm not gonna work there.
That happens all over. Unfortunately, it happens in other places, you know?
Right, but
And that's, I just, you know, if we are going to go that route, I just want to make sure that there's some protection. And so that we're not in a situation where we're paying somebody the dollar and say, hey, we need you to go work the mental health unit. And they say, well, no, I'm not going to work it. And then we have a grievance and we're going to arbitration over whether or not we have the ability to say, hey, you're going to go work that because you're getting paid the additional dollar. And unfortunately, and again, it's not you, but unfortunately, over the years, I've had that experience with some unions, you know, where we get into this battle over, you know, whether we're paying for the certification regardless of whether or not they're ever going to do the work versus when they're going to do the work. Because I understand that they're going to be doing the work. You know, that makes a lot more sense. You know, and I don't think you all are proposing, I'd be pretty, you know, I've known you for a long time, Greg. I'd be really surprised if you were proposing that, you know, you want folks to get this certification pay and be able to say, no, sorry, I'm not going to work.
right. Well, I think it would be pretty much consistent with like the 25,000 certifications firefighters get. They still have to do the job, right? I mean, so if you get that certification, I think you would have to. If you were told to do it, I mean, I don't know.
Well, I hate to say it, but, you know,
You must have
every case that it comes up has come up in the context of firefighters. You know, who, you know, you go ahead and you pay the firefighter incentive, the paramedic incentive to it.
Right.
And then they get transferred over to the ambulance, and it's like, no, I don't want to work on the ambulance. You know, I want to be on the rescue and kind of work as, you know, do the fire part on the rescue, and it's like,
I mean,
why are we paying we paying you an incentive then to be a paramedic if you're not going to do the duties? And so that's just what I'm trying to do.
Right. I'm sure we can work something out. I don't know what the language would be, but if you take, you know, if you're mental health certified, you take that dollar, and you're subject to working that mental health unit.
Well, this is a conversation they go over in the church. I don't know if that's something that we would consider doing. Okay. Yeah, let's talk about that.
And, you know, I kind of think, and Captain Smith can kind of, you know, roll on this, those mental health units they burn you out rather quickly. So you might be able to have more staff to rotate through, you know, if somebody needs a break, but you have the people there that can do it because you've incentivized it enough to where they want to go get their mental health certification. So you have enough staff to run those units, or if you have to open up another mental health unit, or go to the hospital and run a mental health unit. All those things would, I think, would benefit both sides, if we just figure out how we do the language.
So is that the only holdup on our wage proposal?
We have to talk about it as far, I mean, like I said, the rollback's not as concerned, so, I mean, we're gonna have to, we'll talk about it in here and see if that is a deal breaker or whatnot. Because I can make some more. Would you think you could give us an answer on that?
All right, well, so let's do this. You all talk about that. back pretty quick.
15 minutes?
Yeah, I think 15 should be.
15 is good.
Okay, we'll get to this. Just fix it.
Really wish you wouldn't do that right now.
You're right.
All right, so we gave some consideration to the mental health, and we want it to be an assignment pay as opposed to a certification pay. And so what we propose to do, though, is to change the language to say, effective the date of ratification of this agreement, bargaining unit employees who are assigned to and work in a division designated mental health unit will receive $1. So this way, it will be designated once so everybody knows which units will get the $1.
I don't think that, the problem we have, and we discussed it in here, is you're wanting to limit how many people get it, right? Clear that's
Well, not necessarily, because anybody that works on that unit, I mean, if somebody works overtime and works in that unit, or for whatever reason that day they happen to work the unit, they're gonna get the pay. You know, so we're not saying is that has to be your regular assignment. If you work in that unit, for the time that you work in that unit, you're gonna get an extra buck for doing so.
I understand, and I'm just trying to foresee when we go back to the bargaining to talk. So I'm working unit 8, now I want to work the mental health unit, so I get an extra $1 an hour. Who's going to determine that? And then we get into that whole, it's going to become a favoritism thing. And so that's the concerns that I can tell you are already going to pop up, because they've already popped up. So, you know, you're going to get $1 an hour raise for people that are working those units instead of a certification. It's going to be a minute, you know, a limited amount of people that work those units. So,
Yeah, maybe we get in the same issue, because if Dana and I both have certifications, and we're both getting paid $1 an hour, and Dana never gets assigned to work the unit, and I get stuck working the unit all the time, it's like, well, why is that fair? I'm the one actually doing the additional work, and Dana, who never works, isn't working, hasn't been asked to work.
right.
You know, she's getting it. How is that fair?
Well, I mean, we're equating fairness on a different level.
Yeah.
We're looking at it as, if it's everybody that's certified, well, that's a lot more people getting $1 an hour in a bargaining unit. If it's everybody that's only gonna work the units, well, that's a smaller group of people that's gonna get that $1 an hour, so. We haven't come up with it, I don't know what the amount of money is on that, but we probably.
Well, it's going to be a huge amount, because to become mental health certified, you just have to take one class with the internal team.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's not, you know, please don't take this the wrong way, it's not like a certification where you go to paramedic school for a year to become
Right.
certified.
Right.
And so the reality of the situation is if we do that, then everybody's going to get it. And obviously, everybody's not going to be working it. And so that doesn't make sense. I mean, what we're trying to do right now is that we're trying to address what we understood was an issue with respect to getting folks to work the mental health unit. And right now, I guess there are 2 of them, what is it, 2 and H? We were trying to address that specific issue.
The issue came, in my opinion, the issue came is because you put a male officer watching female inmates in a mental health unit. Because you have staff, we work the mental health unit, that's our unit.
Yeah.
And if they allow us to, we'll work that unit the rest of our careers, okay? I don't need extra pay to work that unit. I like being busy, I like being challenged. He's the same way. The day shift on the other shift, same thing, they want that unit. We don't need money for that unit. We need money for all of our membership. Equal money.
We're giving you money for all the membership.
Okay, now, you were talking about, like, we work that unit. If we go work somewhere else, you're taking $1 away from us, right? Is that what you're saying?
Correct, it's assignment pay.
How are you gonna manage that?
Easy, it's a code.
You told us when we asked to switch that for us, you couldn't manage that. It was too hard for you. Now you're gonna tell us every day we work a different unit, you'll be able to control all of it?
Yeah, we can just put a code into the that.
Why don't you just give us shift differential instead?
I don't even remember the shift differential. I don't know, is that your new proposal? No?
We'll give you one if you want.
Not really.
Well, like I said, we want to, I think we all have the same goal, I don't have kids always to get there, we just need to come, you know, we need to keep people from leaving, we need to keep them, we need to recruit them. And, you know, we're just
Well, I agree, but keep in mind, we're now in the conversation, you know, basically what we're talking about is haggling over an incentive that you didn't want.
No,
No, I agree.
yeah.
I agree with what you
Yeah.
just said.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
We
what
we want money in year one for
We're
people
not-
to retain them.
we're
We
not
don't
gonna-
need incentive pay.
But we're not gonna do it.
we, okay. All right. So,
Then let's go.
Let's go.
All right.
They never give us what we want.
what's that?
They want 25 cents on top of the roll. That's what I understood your position would be.
Yes, it was 25 cents on top of the rolling.
Right, on top of the roll-in. I mean,
Yes.
we're already, for most cases, everybody's already getting 25 cents as part of the roll-in. You know, so I know you all are looking at it as $1.50, we're looking at it as more like $1.75, $2 for most folks.
What's that equate, earn in the percentage for that 25 cents on both of those?
Just the 25 cents,
Yeah,
or what the
what's the percentage of that for like,
Ethan would do that because it's going to jump everybody around that level.
7.5 to 8.2% on average, for the $1.50 or $1.75 plus the placement on the pay matrix. It's 7.5 to 8.2%, depending on the classification from COs, seniors, and sergeants. Sergeants and COs are seniors, and sergeants are 8.2, and COs are 7.5.
okay. I guess we'll,
Yeah, Lieutenant's got 10, the board's got 15.
Now, let me just give you the written version of what we just proposed.
okay.
I was wondering.
Okay. Thank you much.
All right, continue.
Is it new?
Just the change of sequence.